welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith. We're going to continue our playthrough of Final Girl, where we left it off in the last video. If you haven't checked that out, you can see it in the top right hand corner. There'll be a link to the actual Kickstarter preview series. You can go there to catch up on where we left off, but we ended off exactly at the end of a full turn. So now we're moving into a new action phase where I get to go ahead and play and resolve action cards. What's really nice is at the end of the last video, I was able to actually do some damage to Hans. I was able to make an attack, plus my knife added an additional hit. So Hans lost 3 total on the health, which is great. So we're moving towards eliminating him before he eliminates us. And being that we're moving into our actions and I prepared wisely, I have a critical blow card and a furious strike card to use. Now the risk here is both of these cards, if I only get 1 success on them, here's an example of critical blow. If I only get the 1 success, yes, I'll do some hits. Yes, I will actually reduce the horror track, but my actions will end. So I'm really gunning to see 2 successes. So in terms of which of these 2 cards I'm going to go ahead and use, well, it's a gamble because right now I'm rolling 2 dice based on my horror rating, and I don't have any cards that allow me to do any type of re-rolling, unfortunately. Now you'd assume because I have a critical blow card, which is a very, very nice hitting card, and also I have the furious strike card, that both of these would be really nice to use right now. But remember, as I mentioned earlier in these other videos, that if you hit that red symbol at the end, meaning if I only got 1 success, I do get a hit, but then my actions would end after I resolve it, meaning I could be stuck in the same space with him. And if you remember how he activates, when he activates, he will do his typical attack right here, which typical now is 3 damage to me, which is half my health. Then if I go to the terror deck up here and it happens to have him attacking me as the target, that could actually kill me, so long as, well, I guess the only thing that would help me at that point would be my final hidden heart to see whether or not I actually come back to life. Again, it's my final source of life there. Now that would be a gamble as to whether or not I want to try to risk that. So I'm thinking that I'm going to actually leave his space. As much as I want to just go ahead and continue to hit him, it doesn't make sense. I'm setting myself up for a situation where I could get absolutely destroyed. So I'd rather leave and come back in with more cards to ensure that not only when I move in I can attack, but also be able to get out. So that's kind of the scary thing here, is that I realize I don't have enough cards to discard cards to guarantee a high success rate to risk sitting in the same space with him. That is essentially my mindset. So with that all said, I'm going to go ahead and do a walk. Now, of course, I could completely fail at trying to walk out of this space, which would be quite funny. But we're going to go ahead and roll this and see if it pans out. So all I need is just a single success. Oh my gosh, I got the 2 successes I need. I should have attacked him. Okay, well, I won't hear the end of that in the comments, that's for sure. But still, I think it's the wise decision because the chances of landing that were not very high, and somehow I still actually landed them. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to walk 2 spaces. So now I have to decide, do I really want to be that far away from him? I know that he likely will try to move towards me, so maybe being that far away is a good thing. Right now, boots-wise, in terms of how much movement he gets 1 space every movement, so moving 2 away actually would make a lot of sense. It would hopefully put me out of reach from him. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start kind of walking over towards these other civilians so I can eventually save them. So I'm going to go 1 and then 2 and put myself right here. I think that's a smart move. So I've left him at the docks, I slipped past him, and at this point I'm not going to be doing any more attacks. I'm definitely going to hold on to my Furious Strike and my Critical Blow and end my actions right there. Now, I also don't want to forget the fact that I do lose 1 on the time track here for what I have in terms of a walk. So now I only have 3 in terms of purchase power. I think I'll definitely go ahead and take these free cards into my hand. A short rest, weak attack, and 2 focus cards. Yes, definitely. I still have 3 left to spend, so I need to decide on this wisely. Now, being that I do have some distance on him right now and don't have to worry probably about having a guard card to react to his attack, I'm going to go ahead with Distraction because I'd like to be able to reduce the terror track to keep myself at 2 dice plus gain some time back. Could be really useful going into another round. So I will take this one right here. This one costs 3, so that's all I have available to spend. And I've also gone ahead here and replenished the tableau for a future planning phase. All right, Hans, what are you planning on doing to me here? In this space, you're doing nothing, thanks to me leaving and being smart. Next up, we're going to pull a terror card and see what happens. Oh, that's not good. So we got the symbol for the terror track. That is going to go up. I'm really good. I went with the distraction card there because the terror track is now up to 6, one away from only having a single die to roll. Now, another thing I should have done at the end of the planning phase was also to reset this back up to 6, which I'll do right now. But what just happened is the terror track actually advanced up here. So you can see, like I mentioned, very close to losing a die and only having a single one. That is not good. And as I mentioned, he just keeps coming. It says at the bottom of this card here that it's going to go after either a victim or the final girl. Final girl is closer currently, so that is his target. It's going to be a movement of 1 in terms of how many times it's going to trigger his movement allotment. His allotment right now is 1 every single time, so he's going to move 1 space. So he's going to go to here. So it was very good that not only did I not stay in his space, but I also happened to roll 2 successes. Very fluky that I was just outside of his reach. He's going to attack nothing again. So Hans is definitely tracking me down right now, and the thing that I gotta mention right off the top is I don't have any movement for this current round. That's okay. One of the things that I'm trying to focus on right now is getting that horror track managed again. Get that thing back up, because currently it's in a bad place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that distraction card that we just saw in order to not only help me out with time if I'm really successful, but also try to knock that horror track down. So let's go ahead and roll for this while we have a chance to get or use 2 dice. Oh, where are these rolls coming from? So as of right now, the horror level is going to drop 2. I'm going to gain 2 on the time. That's awesome. Now, in comparison to the last part or last playthrough video that I put out for Final Girl, I was not rolling successes like that. So it's nice to see that happening. So my time is going to go up to 8, which is fantastic. I get the full advantage of distraction 1 and 2. So I'm distracting him not only by running away and he's following me, but then while he's trying to track me down, I am confusing him, which is great. We didn't lose any time. We only gained it, and we really managed our track well. Now, I do still have 2 more cards in hand, which I think I'll use. These are 2 focus cards, and if I go ahead and use them and I'm really lucky again, I'll be able to actually knock this terror level down right on the doorstep of having 3 dice in the future, which could be massive for doing those really big hits to him and not having to lose all actions for only getting 1 success. All right, so let's see how the first focus pans out. So we'll put that right there. We're going to go ahead and roll 2 dice, cross our fingers for at least a single success. There we go, we got it. So we are going to reduce the terror level down, so you can see that right now going from 4 to 3. We do lose some time because of this one. We weren't as successful focusing, but I'm still okay with it. We're definitely going to go ahead and focus again. So I'm going to go ahead and try again to see if I can make this happen. Yes, I was able to do it. And I could convert that to be and actually gain some time. Oh, that's really tempting, actually. Gaining 2 time, that could be worth it. Do I want to discard 2 cards? Well, I have short rest and weak attack. I don't need short rest right now, but I could certainly use it if I get hammered by him and then in this coming killer phase. I don't need weak attack necessarily when I have Furious Strike and Critical Blow. Let's go ahead and actually try to take advantage of being able to have higher purchase power. So I'm going to actually discard short rest and weak attack. So that's going to convert this one to 2 successes, which means we can reduce the horror level down here, or horror. I keep saying horror level, but I mean horror track down to 1. Or 2, I should say. We're hoping to get into this green area really soon. That'd be fantastic. I'll probably grab this card when I'm buying later on. And we gain 2 times. So we're going from 7 up to 9. That's actually probably the most we've had in the entire playthrough, I think, so far. So this one's now discarded. Okay, so now the question becomes, do I want to discard any cards or just end it here? I'm left with just these 2, which are my heavy hitting attacks. I'm setting myself up pretty good to have a lot of dice when I meet him again in the near future, which could be right now, because I'm going to stop at this point, and now we're going to move into the killer phase. But just before the killer phase, we want to make sure we do our planning phase to buy cards, and we currently have 9 to spend. I'm definitely going to take the free walk cards because we do need movement. So I'm going to go ahead and grab those. Now I have a total of 4 cards in hand. Next, I'm going to probably take, well, that's the thing too. I could have gone after the sprint. Maybe that makes more sense to go after a sprint. Well, let me think about this. The walk ones are free. I do really want the close call cards because it's really going to help me in terms of rolling dice to make sure that I really succeed at those really big critical attacks. So close call seems like a good gamble. I'm going to grab both of them. I think they're both useful. So that's going to cost me 2 time. So now I'm sitting at 7 time in terms of what I have left to spend. If I'm looking at any of these other cards in terms of ones that would be very useful, Guard would be great in terms of a reaction. If we get into a space and then can't get out, we can actually defend. We could also use Sprint. We can actually use Sprint to try to get really far away from him, which could also be good. But there's these other more expensive cards up top. There's Retaliate's actually really good too. So we can actually let him come at us and do the same thing we did before and kind of attack back. That's also really tempting too. So maybe we'll do kind of a mix here. Now with 7 left, it's actually perfect because I can go ahead and grab this distraction card here. This is going to allow me to get ourselves into the 3 dice window. As long as I get a success or 2 successes, we're there. So I'll take this one for 3. I'll take this one for 4 so we can retaliate if we want to stay in the space he's currently at. That's really going to be good. So along with my attack, not only that, but when he comes back at me, if he does, then I'm going to be able to hit him again, which will be huge. And of course, we don't want to forget about replenishing the tableau with the cards from last time. All right, Killer, what do you got coming our way this time? We're going to flip this card over and see. Uh-oh, taking souvenirs. Okay, this is an interesting one. So let me try to explain this. So first off, he is, or at least the target is a victim. That means that the target is not the final girl. So he is going to try to get shortest route to those victims, and that's going to be going right past me. Now, you might be thinking, hey, when he moves in here, because he's got 2 boots, which means he's going to activate his movement twice over. He's got a movement allotment of 1 each time, so that means it's going to be 2. You would think maybe he would stop in my space and see me and try to attack me instead. That's not the case. When he is focused on a target, he's going after that target. The only way that he would actually attack the final girl in, or at least on the way to going after these targeted victims, is if he runs out of movement and happens to land in my space. Then he is almost automatically finding me and then stabbing me. So I'm very lucky there was 2 boots because he's going to hop right past me. He's going to go 1 and 2. I'm going to be hidden. He's not going to see me. He's focusing on the victims. And when he goes to stab something, nobody's there. And he's doing it twice over, which would have been really brutal and actually would have put us at a near-death experience. So I dodged a massive bullet there. So far, things are going my way here. We'll see how long that really holds up. But you can see right here, there's also a symbol down below. If you happen to actually kill some victims during the terror phase, we're going to actually generate an additional bloodlust, which is the symbol right here. So things just get worse for us. But because victims weren't killed during this, we can ignore it. All right, Hans, so you just walked right past me, huh? Well, it's time to kind of come up from behind there and give you a nice little stab in the back, I think. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a walk card here, and we're going to roll for this. Hopefully I don't stumble over my own 2 feet trying to get there in his space. We'll see how this goes. Yes, that is a success. It's going to knock down 1 time, so we're going from 6 down to 5. But we do get to move 1 space. It puts me right in there with him. So we're having lots of fun together. Going to discard this card. I'm creeping up behind him, and now we're going to go ahead and make ourselves a nice attack. This is going to be fun. So remember, I grabbed 2 close call cards, which are going to be huge for re-rolling dice. But before I make an attack, I want to bump up my horror terror level to its highest peak so I can get as many dice as humanly possible. So I'm going to go ahead and take the distraction card here, and we're going to go after this one and hope that I can get at least 1 success. Come on, don't make me burn cards. Oh my gosh, what a crazy roll. What is going on? Okay, so we're going from 5 up to 7 on the time. We didn't lose any. The track is fully maxed out. I can't go any further. We now add an additional die to the pool. Haha, perfect storm for us. It's looking pretty bad for Hans right now. This card's going to be discarded. I didn't lose any time for it. I gained, which is huge. As I just mentioned, we got 3 dice. I'm going for it, guys. Let's do a critical blow. This is going to be it. We're going to put some serious pain on him. So first off, we're going to roll 3 dice. We're looking for 2 success, and I have the ability to re-roll if I need to. Okay, well, that's an example of how things can go really, really poorly all of a sudden. Okay, so that was the worst possible roll, but thank you, close call. Okay, so close call right here says reroll all dice for 2 times. Yep, that was such a terrible roll that I am willing to lose 2 times just to try again because that was just horrible on all levels. So we'll roll away, hope for something better. Okay, that's a little better. So in order to be fully successful, I need to discard 2 cards. Now I could burn another close call to roll any die. Not exactly the best use just yet. I could... Well, this is where actually... this is interesting. So I want to keep the Retaliate card in my hand because I'm planning on staying in his space. I really hope that I'm able to survive whatever he has throwing at me. If I can get through this attack, I'd also like to try to do a Furious Strike, which would be nice. The only other cards I have then to discard technically would be a Walk. So if I'm not planning to leave, which I guess I'm not, so I could discard that one and a Close Call. So I could, ironically, instead of rolling that die, I could actually, well, the fun thing is I could burn 2 times and reroll all 3. That's a huge gamble. Or I could just guarantee it by discarding these 2 and flipping this to a positive. So let's do that. Let's get rid of these 2 cards. We're going to flip this to an automatic success. This is going to actually inflict this critical blow 3 damage plus the 1 damage coming from my knife. So Hans is going to lose 4 hearts from that attack. That was pretty awesome. So he is getting a little bit woozy from all these stab wounds. And the best news is I'm not done yet. I'm going to go ahead now with a Furious Strike. We're going all in on this. So Furious Strike here, we're going to roll away 3 dice, hoping for good things. And you'll notice that there was an actual terror reduction level there on that card, which I couldn't even take advantage of because we had handled the terror track so well in that last turnaround. So okay, so that was interesting. So this is okay, so this is where at least an attack is going to happen. It's just going to be a regular success for 1 hit. We're going to end our actions right there, but the 1 hit's actually 2 because there's a knife. So we'll go back over to Hans and remove another 2 health for that nice stab. We are setting ourselves up pretty awesome right now because right now we only have 3 hearts remaining on him. And what I'm seeing in my hand left over right now is a Retaliate card if I am lucky, along with my final Close Call card because I can use this to help me. When I go ahead and actually do a Retaliate, if he tries to attack me, I can cancel all the damage coming to me, do 2 damage here, plus the knife would be enough to kill him. And then it would just come down to flipping this final heart over to see whether or not he gets us or gets back up, which would be kind of like every horror movie ever. So that's going to end it. I've got a Retaliate card and a Close Call card in my hand. That's where I'm going to stop at this point. I've got 5 time to spend in the planning phase, so let's purchase a few things just in case. Now, I'm going to go ahead right now and take the Long Rest card. The reason being is if everything goes south on me here, this is perfect because not only is it a 5-cost card, I only have 5 to spend, so I've burnt all of it. But the great thing with this card is if I'm staying in this space and everything goes sideways in terms of my Retaliate and my reroll and it just doesn't work out for me in terms of what I need, or he stands back up and he starts hammering away at me sometime in the near future, I'm at least going to have the ability to do a nice heal. Granted, again, hoping that the dice are in my favor or rerolls are. It's also worth mentioning I'm definitely going to go ahead and take all the free cards that were sitting in the tableau as well. So that's these 4 right here. And I've also put back all the cards that I just recently used that I wasn't allowed to purchase in this planning phase. So now in total I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards in hand, and we're reset to 6. We're ready to go to the killer phase. So the very first thing Hans is going to do is he's going to try and stab me for 3 damage. Well, because you're trying that, Hans, I'm going to use Retaliate. And we're going to go ahead and roll 3 dice to see if I can cancel all of this damage. Let's see how it goes. Oh, that's so close. So, I mean, I got to do it. I mean, this is the win in the bag right here because I have I have enough to convert everything I need here without re-rolling anything. So I'm going to go, well, I guess that's the fun part. I guess that final heart could get me. So let's be careful about that. I'll hold on to Long Rest just in case, but the 4 other cards I just picked up, which are free cards, which are the Focus, Short Rest, Weak Attack, and Focus, I'm burning all of those to convert. Actually, I guess I don't need to go that aggressive. I just need to convert 1. So in that case, I'll hold on to the Weak Attack just in case I need to do a 1-hit wonder kill if his final heart is still there. And I'll hold on to the Short Rest because I can heal again. So I'll get rid of the 2 Focus here because that just makes logical sense. We'll flip that to a success. So in terms of what I have in my hand, just so you guys are aware, I've got Short Rest, Long Rest, Weak Attack, and Close Call. I think that's perfect for what we're trying to accomplish here. So those are 2 successes. We cancel the damage coming to him. We then hit him for 2 plus the knife's damage, which makes 3. And now the moment you guys have all been waiting for. Did Selena make the final killing blow on Hans? We're going to remove the first damage, the second damage, and now to flip the final one. She did indeed. There was no getting up for Hans. It was way too many stab wounds, way too repeatedly in such a short period of time. That was awesome. So in some crazy fashion, I managed to not lose any health during this playthrough, which I guarantee you outside the playthrough that is filmed right here that you're watching is the only time I have never lost health. When I played this game outside of this a number of times before filming, I died multiple times. So this thing is ridiculous, and I think a lot of it had to do with some of the great die rolls that I got at the beginning of this episode. Definitely helped to prepare, and also to, well, I got a little lucky, I guess, too, in terms of where Han was focusing and moving around the board. As much in the end as I want to give credit to a little bit of luck involved, there was, I think, I want to give myself some credit in terms of the strategy of which cards I bought and when, and also how much we had available to spend during the planning phase, how I split up my movement between the different phases to ensure I wasn't ever stuck when I didn't want to be stuck. Things like that all matter, and the more you play the game, the more you understand that. However, again, being that this game is a modular game, not only that the location can change, the killer can change, but there's all kinds of elements that actually didn't crop up inside this playthrough, so I want to show you a couple if, in fact, the terror cards had gone down to the very end. So let's say hypothetically I hadn't actually killed Hans off. We had 5 cards remaining. Now remember, one of my victims I pulled off with Selena actually added 2 terror cards in here, so technically normally it would just be 3. Once these are all burnt and you're supposed to go to the terror deck to actually resolve the next card, you instead go to the finale card. Now the finale card is the card on top. The one on the bottom is actually related with you can see a red line straight to dark power. We got super lucky that he was 1 away from us seeing his dark power, but because we never hit it, I'd like to reveal it so you can get an idea as to what kind of terrible things he can throw at you. So this one here, when we flip it over, says for every victim that Hans kills, he receives health. So basically, if there are more victims, and there are, some of these horror cards can actually have individuals come back to the camp. So don't think that the victims you saw total number wise is what's normal for every playthrough. There are playthroughs where you'll actually have victims come to the actual location, even amongst the killing, for no reason. And you're like, why are you guys coming here? You're supposed to be leaving. Well, if they come in, Hans is going to kill them and he's going to gain life. So that's a big problem. So this is his dark power. And of course, there's a number of different dark powers in the game, and it honestly doesn't take very long down the track to hit that and flip it. We got very lucky because we did a good job at saving about 50% to 60% of the victims. So it was pretty good. It was actually dead even. We left 2 on the board, 4 of them died, and 4 of them were saved. So it was pretty good overall. The finale card for Hans would have been Bloodbath if we had have actually hit it. So what would happen is you'll notice it changes his original thing, which is just essentially stabbing somebody in his zone, to something a lot more aggressive and a lot more in terms of what he's actually targeting. He's going after the final girl guaranteed on just his first attack. And it says it actually is the final girl or the victim, my apologies, but it's whichever is closer. So then he's got a crazy amount of movement, of course, that's going to help him based on wherever he's at on this chart. He's going to attack twice. Like if that had triggered, I can tell you right now, based on my limit of health at 6, if he had done 2 hits on me in a row, which he had the chance to do, he could have killed me. So the only way to know whether he could have actually killed me with 2 hits would be to flip over my token on the final girl player board. So let's do that and see how that would have panned out. Look at that. So I actually would have been able to stand up after he would have slaughtered me and be able to get back up and have another fighting chance of survival. And that's going to conclude the finale for Final Girl. I really hope this playthrough helps you make an informed decision on the currently running Kickstarter. Again, if you have familiarity with Hostage Negotiator, the backbone of this game is used in this particular game as well, especially in terms of the actual management of purchasing of cards and usage of time. There's elements there that cross over for sure if you're familiar with that game. So if you enjoyed Hostage Negotiator, you're likely to enjoy this one as well. And this one also takes things kind of to the next level and adds more into the picture, which I really think helps to really flush out the whole experience overall. So thank you guys again so much for watching, and as always, keep on rolling solo.